hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down, a long way down. If you get sleep or if you get none,
Cock's gonna call in the morning, baby.
check the cupboard for your daddy's gun.
That sunrise is like an early warning.
The Lord's gonna come for your firstborn son.
Hair's on fire and his heart is burning.
So go to the river where the water runs.
Washing deep where the tides are turning.
If you fall, if you fall, hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down. Hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down. The wolves will chase you by the pale moonlight.
Drunk and driven by the devil's hunger.
Drive your son like a railroad spine
Into the water, let him pull you under.
Don't you lift him, let him drown alive.
Your love speaks like a rolling thunder.
That fever make the water rise.
Let the river run dry.
And I said, hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down to the line. Hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down. Hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down. Hold my hand. Oh baby, it's a long way down, a long way down. Hold my hand, long way down to the bottom. Hold my hand, it's a long way down. Hold my hand, oh baby, it's a long way. Hold on now, hold my hand, oh baby, it's a long way down, a long way down. It takes a lot of men to make a gun. Hundreds, many men to make a gun. Men in the mines to dig the iron, men in the mills to forge the steel, men in machines to turn the barrel, mold the trigger, shape the wheel. It takes a lot of men to make a gun. One gun. And all you have to do is move your little finger, and you can change the world. Why should you be blue? Move your little finger. Move how just a little finger can. I hate this gun.
What a wonderful gun. What a versatile invention. First of all, when you're a gun, everybody pays attention. When you think what must be done, think of all that it can do.
Remove a scoundrel.
Unite a party.
Preserve the union. Remove the sails of my boat.
Assure my future.
My nation history. And then the world will say
That I am not a man to overlook. Ha ha.
and all you have to do is squeeze your little finger, ease your little finger back You can change the world. Whatever else is true, you trust your little finger. Just a single little finger can change the world. A gun kills many men before it's done. Hundreds long before you shoot the gun. Men in the mines and in the steel mills, men in machines who died for what? Something to buy, a watch, a shoe, a gun, a thing to make the bosses richer. But a gun blames many men before it's done. Just one more. And all you have to do is crook your little finger, hook your little finger round. You can change the world. Simply follow through and look. Your little finger can
Slow them down,
to a crawl. Show them all.
big and small.
It took a little finger, no time to change the world. War is the science, rules to be applied, which good soldiers appreciate. They call and recapitulate before they go to decimate the other side. The army of the enemy is stationed up the hill, so we've got to draw them down here, and this is how we will. Our men in the ravine, that's area and green, will move across the valley where they claiming can be seen. Then the enemy in blue will undoubtedly pursue, for that's how you depend upon an enemy to do. And then, gentlemen, marching out into the fray, conquering the enemy and carrying the day. Hark, the blood is hot in our ears. Jubilation, we can hear a grateful nation's tears. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Kathleen. Hey, Dawn. Did you know that the first tools ever made were weapons?
Now don't say.
Oh, but I do. You see, back in the Stone Ages, we used clubs and rocks to kill our food. But then when the animals started killing us back, we devised methods of killing them from further and further distances.
Oh, like the spear and the bow and arrow.
Exactly. But it wasn't until one day in China when the evolution of killing and weaponry would be changed forever. The Chinese emperor advised his subjects to discover the elixir of immortality.
That's ironic.
He found that a certain concoction, when blended, would explode into a purple flame.
Gunpowder was born. Now flash forward to the Civil War.
Which was anything
The
but.
North cut off supplies to the South and ammunitions were scarce.
Southerners turned to mining bat guano to produce gunpowder.
Bat guano.
That's a fancy name for bat poop, Dawn. Southerners would go into limestone caves and they would shovel 2,500 pounds of bat guano per day to come up with a 100-pound gunpowder quota.
That's just batshit crazy.
Now when the foes see our soldiers marching through the lead, they will mount a charge and meet us at the point and label B.
Our bowmen on the hill, in yellow on the map, will leave their post and road to us and draw them to our trap.
They will cut up reinforcements and retreat of any kind, bearing principles of the methylated, methylated mind.
Innovation and the fact that we just can't stop fighting with each other has led to major advancements in weaponry.
That's right, we went from spears and knives to cannons, muskets, the Maxim gun.
Oh yeah, the old devil's paintbrush. That's the gun that's credited for winning World War I. It killed 60,000 men before lunch.
Yeah, then there was the Mauser MT-42, nicknamed Hitler's Saw.
Yeah, but the only problem with that one was it belonged to the enemy.
Yeah. The 38 Special,
Make my day.
the 44 Magnum, the M16 and the AK-47.
Even with all these advanced reinforcements and weaponry, the most important advantage to war is the element of surprise.
And nothing says surprise like stepping on a landmine. And if the fates feel frivolous and all our plans take smother,
But suppose this war does shrivel us.
there'll always be another. Go!
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there. Tell me I've got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Whoa. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Hey. Paranoia strikes deep.
Paranoia strikes
Into your life it will
Into your life
It starts when you're always afraid. When you're always step out of line. The man comes and he'll take you away. Take you away. Take you away. Take you away. You better stop. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. I think it's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody, hey, what's that sound? Everybody, hey, what's that sound? Everybody, look what's going down. Everybody, hey, what's that sound? Everybody, hey, what's going down? Everybody, hey, what's that sound? Everybody, look what's going. You better stop. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to Know Your Revolution. Please help me welcome our first guest from Chattahoochee, Georgia, Miss Mary Lou Apocalypse. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, Jim. I just take a peg to be here. I just love war. You know, my husband Billy Joe and I, we live up yonder near Fort Bannon, which supports 120,000 soldiers and their families, and they just sent a whole bunch of boys down to old West Africa to fight those Ipolas. Go get 'em, boys! Okay, let's have our first question.
On his fourth and final voyage to discover the New World, a lunar eclipse saved Christopher Columbus and his crew. How many revolutions does the moon orbit the Earth in 1 year?
Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm so nervous. But okay, I noticed. Let's see. I time my cycle by the moon. That's every 28 days. So let's see. The moon orbits the Earth about 13 times a year.
That's right! All right, question number 2. What does this current pie chart represent? You have 3 chances.
Is this the amount of times that Kim Kardashian's had a colonic compared to normal people? Okay, current, well, is this that Facebook syndrome? How many times that people spend on Facebook rather than actually doing any work?
Think revolution, Mary Lou!
The amount of people that were killed by the smallpox virus during the Revolutionary War instead of the British Army.
So close. No, it is the number of calendar years since 1776 that the USA has been at war versus peacetime. That's right, studio audience. We've only experienced peace for 21 years. Let's have a round of applause for that. Question number 3. In what war did we suffer the most American casualties?
The Civil War! That's right!
Approximately 2% of our population, a remarkable 620,000 Americans, were killed in the Civil War. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Mary Lou. You win this incredibly authentic-looking Civil War hat.
Thank you.
Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mary Lou Apocalypse. She'll return to us next week for the final battle round. Take it away, Johnny.
The Civil War all but wiped out an entire generation of men. In 1863, President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves. In a 3-day battle at Gettysburg, nearly 52,000 men were killed. This marked the point where the South began to lose. The Civil War was a 4-year war that not only was against the North and the South, but it put families fighting against each other. Father against son, and brother against brother. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real life nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the ponies. I am a Yankee Doodle boy.
Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton. Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, Dixieland. Dixieland, where I was born in
Sorry about that, folks. It's a little loud down here. How you doing? Rosie! The Riveter! You know, I was on all those posters. I was an iconic symbol for women during World War II. I was created to boost morale for women in the workplace. It's just a load of U.S. propaganda, really. But I didn't mind. I was everywhere. I was on all these posters, getting all this attention. Us Riveters, we rolled up our sleeves, tied up our hair, and we said, "We can do it, boys." But it wasn't just about me, you see. Ain't that right, Donna?
Yeah, Rosie.
There were 6 million other Riveters. We stepped out of the kitchen and into the war factories. But you know what? This has been going on for years. Take the Revolutionary War, for example. Back then, you had to learn a trade. Someone like, what's her name? Betsy Ross. Yeah, Betsy Ross. There she was, sewing her little fingers off. She had no idea what her contribution would be. She was up in that upholstery shop. You know, she worked for 70 years. That was a long time back then. Yeah, she was mending those uniforms, fixing tents, and she was even stuffing those paper-tubed cartridges with musket balls, you know, for the army, you know, to make the bullets. You ever heard of bite the bullet? Well, thank you for coming in and enjoy your tassels.
Hello, Miss Ross. My soldiers and I need to obtain your services. We need an American flag. I was thinking something like, maybe some stripes and this wonderful 6-point star.
Well, General Washington, I love your idea, but you know, I've been working on this new quilt, which includes a 5-point star, and might I suggest that not only more economical, but when folded correctly, the fabric can be made quite easily and quickly into a 5-point star with just a snip of my scissor.
Oh, I cannot tell a lie. That's incredible. Listen, I don't care how you do the star. I just need the flag by next Thursday. Gosh, these teeth are killing me.
Betsy died at the age of 84. It was her grandson William who presented the story to the Historical Society of Pennsylvania in 1870, which claimed that Betsy Ross had made with her hands the first flag of the United States.
With the guns flaring and the drums pounding, there's no hope of getting rest. With the lights glaring and the calls sounding and the clenching in your chest. When the man's in battle and the baby's rattle only makes you more depressed. The wise woman does what she knows. If it's fighting, she fights. If it's sewing, she sews. When the tension inside overflows and goes to flow, one more star, one more stripe to escape your lonely bed. One more star, one more stripe. Join the blue, the white, and red. One more star, one more stripe as you pray your child's not dead.
get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you and me, every son of liberty. Hurry right away, no delay, go today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to pine, to be proud her boys in line. Over there, over there. Send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums are drumming everywhere. So over there, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over over there. No, we won't come back till it's over there.
We sent our soldiers off to World War I with high hopes. America's patriotism was immeasurable, and this was reflected in our music. The Great War had many after effects, changes in politics, economics, and public opinion. But after the war, the gusto that we had was replaced by disillusionment and questions of why we fought the war in the first place. Our loved ones returned home with psychological issues, shell shock, exposure to mustard gases, and loss of limb. Financial difficulties ensued.
Fathers returned unable to provide because of witnessing such flashbacks of nightmares and trauma after witnessing such destruction. And then the men go marching out into the fray, conquering the enemy and carrying the day. Hark, the blood is pounding in our ears. Jubilations, we can hear a grateful nation's cheers.
They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed them on. When there was earth to plow or guns to bear, I was always there, right there on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream, with peace and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line, just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee Doodly dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell. I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee Doodly dum. 500,000 suits went slogging through hell. I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al. to spare a dime.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
America goes to war. Men of the Army, Navy, and Marines reinforce the battlefronts on 6 continents to save the homes and ideals of free men from Axis domination.
On August the 6th, 1945, 2 American Super Fortress bombers arrived over the Japanese city of Hiroshima on the world's most devastating military mission. The Enola Gay, with Colonel Paul Tibbets at the controls, was about to drop the first atomic bomb, a weapon conceived by a group of international scientists based at Los Alamos in the United States.
Once more the nation's capital was blazing in all its glory, and in cities throughout the nation the blackout was ended. Germany had surrendered, the war in Europe was over. There was still a war to be fought to a finish in the Pacific, but that couldn't dim the celebration that marked the fall of Hitler and the end of his dreams of world conquest.
And that's the way it is.
This is Motor Crime Guide. Good night.
Shadows fall, I always recall out there across the sea, twilight falling down on a little town. It's fresh in my memory. I hear a mother pray, and to her baby say, don't cry. This is her lullaby. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. There'll be love and laughter and peace ever after tomorrow, when the world is free. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep
time before asking you to marry me, I had been thinking things over, and I was, and am, quite certain of my own feelings, but I feel rotted for asking you when I did. I ought to have waited until the war was over, and until I had more idea of your feelings. I have loved you ever since I was a schoolboy. You ask me how much I love you. All I can say is that I love you together with my mother and father and my honor, but on a different scale altogether. There is just one thing I want to mention before I forget, and it is this. If I should by any chance be crippled, I shall call
Also
up
covered all of
everything.
Luxembourg, all along the Moselle River. The riverbank was lined for miles with foxholes, zigzag trenches, and gun emplacements. The debris of the battle was all around. Went over one newly built bridge, and all the GIs came out to watch and see if we'd make it. The sky was full from horizon to horizon with planes. Visited Trier, Germany, on the first hospital train to go there.
Might as well
Place
get
was a
down to
wreck.
the nitty-gritty. These dreams I have, they're not dreams, they're nightmares. I am not concerned or embarrassed by them. It's just that if I'm having these dreams and someone tries to wake me, they'll have a fat lip or a broken jaw. If no one tries to wake me, I'll just get up shaking like a leaf and in a cold sweat. Well, another little secret no one knows but you. There comes a time when you want to cry because you realize what you have and what you left and what is there. Please bring me back home alive. I am sick at what I see, and I am scared.
2 days past 18, he was waiting for the bus. In his army greens, he sat down in a booth in a cafe there and gave his order to a girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gives him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little low. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no one to send a letter to. Would you mind if I sent one back here to you? I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter's sent.
Perhaps it would be better if we put aside what has happened until after the war.
Please write more often. Wednesday I'll be 32. I better get home and start that family and bank account in a hurry.
If I have to die at such a young age, let me die in my country. And I know, if I keep my escaping faith, I'll make it.
So the letters came from an army camp in California, then Vietnam, and he told her of his heart might be love and all of the things he was so scared of. He said, when it's getting kind of rough over here, I think of that day sitting down at the pier, and I close my eyes and see your pretty smile. Don't worry that I won't be able to write for a while.
coming home.
Goodbye. Love. From Cecil.
Don't forget to love me.
Thank you for everything you have done, Joe.
A soldier's coming.
Thank you, Johnny! Thank you, thank you. All right, everyone, welcome to Know Your Revolution's final battle round. You all remember Miss Mary Lou Apocalypse, right?
I
Give her a round of applause. Very good, very good. Yes, yes. Mary Lou, your first question. During the Vietnam War, letters would take weeks, even months, to reach our soldiers. Name 3 forms of social media today that help our soldiers get word to their loved ones in real time.
Email. Skype.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Tweet! Oh, will we accept tweet?
Yes.
Will we?
Yes.
We will accept tweet! We will. Okay, very good. Question number 2. Name the biographical wartime movie about a general in World War II. That's right! Yes, only one more question to go before you win, Mary Lou. Mary Lou, you have 10 seconds to name as many wartime movies or television shows as you can. And go!
Thin Red Line. Saving Private Ryan. China Beach. Tour of Duty. Jericho. Combat. Saving Private Ryan. Garrison's Guerrillas. Apocalypse Now. MASH.
Impressive! You win the grand prize, this incredibly authentic-looking army hat. Good job, Mary Lou. Congratulations. Give her a round of applause, everybody.
MASH went from book to movie to television show. And while Robert Altman was the film's director, it was his son Mike who, at the age of 14, wrote the lyrics in roughly 5 minutes to this next very popular song, which became the soundtrack to the hit TV show. MASH brought the Cold War into our living rooms once a week for 11 seasons. And its final episode was watched by a record-breaking 125 million viewers, which is the most TV show watched ever. Though it was viewed as a comedy, the show's discourse often questioned, grappled, and mocked at America's role in the Cold War. Through early morning fog I see the visions of things to be, the pains that are withheld from me. I realize and I can see that suicide is painless. I try to find a way to make all our little joys relate without that ever-present hate. But now I know that it's
have no feelings? How can they ignore their friends? Easy to be proud, easy to say no. Especially people who care about strangers, who care about evil and social injustice. Do you only care about the bleeding crowd? How about a needing friend? I need a friend. How can people have no feelings? You know I'm hung up on you. Easy to be proud, easy to say no. And don't you wonder how long we can take it? The way we play and make fun of each other. Oh, we just pretenders in a world we made. Where's the heart of you and me? I need a friend. How can people be so heartless? How can people be so cruel? It's easy to give in. It's easy to help out. It's easy to help out. It's easy. It's so easy. Easy to help out. It's easy to help out. And easy to be Tick 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 tickety tick boom, tick tock tickety boom, tick 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 tickety tick boom, tickety tickety whoa, tick 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 tickety tick boom, tick tock tickety boom, tick 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 tickety tick boom, tickety tickety whoa, war, huh? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War, huh? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War, I spy. Nothing
war in Iraq and Afghanistan, Russia and the Ukraine, Israel and Palestine, ISIS and Syria are plaguing our world. But surprisingly enough, there are more smaller wars that we face right here at home every single day.
Science!
War is a science with rules to be applied, which good soldiers appreciate.
Recall and recapitulate.
Before they go to decimate,
Before they go to decimate.
before they go to decimate the other side. Now the war we fight is different. The enemy is us. Any moron with a laptop can blow up a city bus.
The food we eat is deadly and the air we breathe is worse. Monsanto pushes poison you can carry in your purse.
The icebergs are eroding and the bees are almost gone. By 2024, by 2024, by 2024, by 2024, by 2024, there'll be nowhere to stand upon. Science.
We struggle with a failing infrastructure, poor school systems, fiscal debt, social security, healthcare, poverty, unemployment, the Occupy Wall Street movement, and school shootings seem to become a daily occurrence. And the list goes on and on. Where do we begin?
While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation,
Wasting time in the unemployment lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. I said you better run, 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 run. 'Cause finally the tables are starting to turn, talking about a revolution. What about sunlight? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fields? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice the crying earth, the weeping shores?
what have we done to the world? Look what we've done. What about all the hope that we pledged your only son? What about flowering fields? Is there a time? What about all the dreams that you said were yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the children dead from war? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, its weeping shores?
this show tonight was to remind us of our history and of all the sacrifices of the men and women that have come before us, and how appropriate on today, Veterans Day. Hopefully, we've sparked a little something inside of you with all this amazing, iconic music, because this is a great country and world, and it is not the politicians make, it is the people that make this country great and initiate change.
Have I been sleeping? I've been so still, afraid of crumbling.
Have I been careless, dismissing all the distant rumblings? Take me where I am supposed to be, to comprehend the things I cannot see. 'Cause I need to move, I need to wake up, I need to change, I need to shake up, I need to speak out. Something's gotta break up, I've been asleep, and I need to wake up now.
And as a child, I danced like it was 1999. My dreams were wild. The promise of this new world would be mine.
Now I'm throwing off the carelessness of you, to listen to an inconvenient truth that I need to move, I need to wake up, I need to change, I need to shake up, I need to speak out. Something's gotta break up, I've been asleep, and I need to wake up now. I am not an island, I am not alone. I and my intention trapped here in this flesh and bone. And I need to move, I need to wake up, I need to change, I need to shake up, I need to speak out. Something's gotta break up, I've been asleep, and I need to wake up now. Oh, I wanna change, I need to shake up. Something's gotta break up, I've been asleep, and I need to wake up. We need to wake up now.
John Derow and Kathleen Francis.
Thanks, guys. We're so happy you're here on this. It's a really special show for us on Veterans Day. Dawn and I's fathers both served in the Air Force. And thanks, Dads. And my uncle stormed the beaches of Normandy. He was shot 3 times and came back from World War II with a Silver Star for bravery. Our director, Lenny Watts, his father was held in a Japanese prison camp. He was a prisoner of war in World War II. And our videographer, Michael, where are you, Michael? His dad came back from World War II with a Purple Heart. Our families were the lucky ones. And it's for these reasons that we, on this Veterans Day, have made this an official Wounded Warrior Project event. And we're donating a portion of everyone's cover charge to the Wounded Warrior Project tonight. But if that's not enough for you, the lovely and talented Maureen Taylor, our very good friend, will be right outside with this Army helmet that you can throw extra cash in if you so desire, or if you want to make a contribution in someone's name. We have all of the literature and paraphernalia if you guys want to donate in someone's honor. Please help us let our soldiers know that their efforts were not made in vain.
Yeah.
I was there in the winter of '64 when we camped in the ice at Nashville's doors. 300 miles our trail had led. We barely had time to bury our dead.
When the Yankees charged and the colors fell,
Overton Hill was a living hell.
when they called retreat, it was almost dark.
I died with a grape shot in my heart. Say a prayer for peace, for every fallen sun. Set our spirits free. Let me lay down my guns. Sweet Mother Mary, I'm so tired, but I can't come home till the last shot's fired. In June of 1944, I waded in the blood of Omaha's shores.
21 and scared to death, my heart pounding in my chest. I almost made the first seawall
when my friends turned and saw me fall.
I still smell the smoke, I can taste the mud
as I lay there dying from a loss of blood.
Say a prayer for peace, for every fallen sun. Set our spirits free. Let us lay down my guns.
Sweet Mother Mary, we're so tired, but we can't come home till the last shot's fired.
I'm in the fields of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan, and I'm still hoping, waiting, praying I did not die in vain.
Say a prayer for peace, for every fallen sun. Set our spirits free. us free, let us lay down our guns. Sweet Mother Mary, we're so tired, but we can't come home. No, we can't come home till the last shot's
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, John Derow and Kathleen Frank.